I figured I'd talk about this topic for a little bit. I watch Pine Grove, and I like Pine Grove. He makes a lot of good videos and makes a lot of good points. I like Barbarossa. I like a lot of his videos. A lot of the stuff he has said is very accurately true. But the sad thing is when I watch them, I also see where they're asleep, where they're not awake to what's really going on in society. And I don't know if they just refuse to go look any further to educate themselves, okay? Or they're just so stuck in one spot that they can't move beyond that point to actually educate themselves, or if maybe it's just because it don't fit what they believe. So if it don't fit what they believe in their minds, then it has to be wrong. And I guess that philosophy is sort of like, well, we all know man can't fly. And years ago, before planes was invented, you know, it was the same bullshit then. When two people talked about, well, we can fly, everybody said you're nuts. It wasn't in their belief, so because it wasn't in their belief, it couldn't be done. They were nuts. And so now all these people who called them nuts are going to airports and getting themselves groped in the name of terrorism. Okay? Which is their own government doing it to them, okay? But they won't believe that, no. They gotta stay stuck in their little matrix, okay, in their little box. They can't step outside that box and do any kind of research. Because if they was to actually just step outside the box and do a little research and zip their mouth and remember what they read or remember what they believed, then just sit back and open your eyes and watch to see what's really going on. Lo and behold, they might accidentally wake up. Oh, but they can't do that, can they? They gotta believe there's a Democrat and there's a Republican. They gotta believe there's a left and a right. That's right. Left and right, Democrats and Republicans. WWE, they have a lot in common. The good guy and the bad guy. That's right. It's sort of like the good cop, bad cop. Have a lot in common. The only thing is Democrats, Republicans take their orders from the same people and are for the exact same agenda. Okay, for the exact same agenda. And they get up on TV, they get up there and they put on an act like WWE, like Hollywood, and you all fall for that act. You really believe that this side wants something the other side don't want. You really believe that crap. You fall into it hook, line, and sinker. You're a bunch of fish hanging on the end of a line. Just flopping there. That's what you're doing. You're just hanging on the end of the line, flopping around. Okay? Because you can't go any further, and you never will go any further. Don't matter what side you think you're picking, you're still picking the same side regardless. I don't care if you say, well, the left's better or the right's better, or the Democrats better or the Republicans better. Evil is evil, wrong is wrong, and right is right. Okay? And as long as you want to keep falling for the scripted act of there's a left and a right, a Democrat and a Republican, then you will always be the fool you are. Because you're not willing to educate yourselves. You're not willing to actually sit back and take a look. Because if you actually just do a little bit of research and a little bit of zipping your mouth and looking and opening your eyes and watching what's really going on, you would discover, as you was doing this, that I wasn't full of shit, that I was telling you the truth. These people have you fooled. They have the blankets pulled over your eyes. And I guess you just don't want to see it, okay? Maybe it's because it takes you outside of your comfortable zone. Well, don't worry. You will be taken outside of your comfortable zone, whether you want to or not. Because the system's not broke. You cannot think that if you take out the left, you'll have a better world. Or if you take out the right, you'll have a better world. If you straighten out the Democrats, it'll be better. If you straighten out the Republicans, it'll be better. That's like your people's philosophy about, well, we have to pick of the less of the evil. And so, what you're really saying is, who do I want to kill me? John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Charles Manson. Because I got to pick from the less of the evil because I couldn't stand up for myself, okay? It's no different than when you all say, and you hear people say it all the time, well, we know our politicians lie. That's right, you know they lie, but then you get mad when they lie to you. But you know they lie when they go into office, but you just get mad when they lie to you. I guess it's because that thing called common sense done left your body years ago, and you have none. You probably don't even know what common sense means. Okay? And I hate to be that way, but it's the God's honest truth. Okay? It's right so square in your face, but yet you just don't want to see it. The truth is the truth. Okay? And the truth is you think Obama runs this country. You actually think Obama runs this country. He don't even run the roll of toilet paper in his bathroom. I hate to say that, but it's true. He's a puppet on a string. He follows his orders. He don't run this country. He never has and never will. Neither did Bush. Neither did Clinton. Neither did Reagan. Neither did Nixon. Neither did Carter. Neither did Ford. Neither did Kennedy. The reason Kennedy's dead is because, see, he wanted to do something. He wanted to do away with secret societies. And you can say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. So the CIA is a conspiracy theory, huh? Because when I say secret societies, I talk about Skull and Bones. Oh, no, that's another conspiracy theory. You just remember, so CIA. The CIA does not exist, okay? It's a conspiracy theory. Because, see, John F. Kennedy, he's even got the speech. He was drawing up the paperwork to do it. When he came into office, he was just as corrupt as the rest of the presidents was. He was following his orders from the same families who really run this country. But he didn't like what he seen. He didn't like their plans. Excuse me 1 second. And so because he didn't like what he seen, and he didn't like their plans, okay, he decided that he was going to take the monetary system, you know, that money that you people are working and earning and spending, you know that money that's crashing? Yeah, he was going to take that monetary system, you know, the Federal Reserve, that was privately owned, that's right, that was never a federal entity, a government entity, and he was going to give the monetary system back to the people. That's right. And he was going to do away with secret societies, CIA. That's right. That's who he's talking about. Well, lo and behold, when he got ready to do that, if he didn't wind up dead. And you haven't seen one president since that time attempt to give the monetary system back to the people of his country. That's right, back to us the people. Or try to do away with the CIA. But you people still don't want to listen to anything that was ever said. You had a president that talked about the military-industrial complex and that he'd made a grave mistake when he was leaving office. And he tried to warn you. And I believe that was Eisenhower. And you all ignored him. You all blew off everything he said. Just like you're doing right now. So that you can stay in your little bubble and believe there's a left and a right. And you're going to wind up dead. Every last one of us. You're going to find yourself in World War III. You're going to find out that history is replaying itself. You're going to find out that you live in Nazi America. That Nazi Germany is replaying itself, and you refuse to believe it because it'd take you outside your comfortable zone, because you couldn't open your eyes and take a look. So you people just go ahead and keep believing in the lies, and you can believe in this, okay? The WWE really has bad guys and good guys, okay? Yes. And that it's real. That's not entertainment. They're really doing that in the ring. That's right. You know, and a human being can take a steel chair upside the head over and over. Won't do any harm to him, might knock him out, and that's about it. You people might as well believe it. You're about that dumb. Okay? You are about that dumb. I don't know what to say for you. Like I said, I like Pine Grove over there, Chafin's Infernal. I like his message. He has a lot of good things he says, and I like Barbarossa, a lot of good things he says, but I'm just saddened by the fact that you people are so asleep. Anyhow, I guess I got to answer the phone. Okay, now that the phone call is out of the way, we know how that goes, don't we? Anyhow, now that that's out of the way, I'm going to finish this up, okay? Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in what I see, but let me tell you something. The system's not broke. You're not going to fix anything by correcting the right, correcting the left. It's been set up deliberately. What you're seeing going on in society with the females and the men losing more rights, and everything MRA is speaking out about, the TFL has spoke out about, and so many people. This is happening deliberately. Deliberately. Joe Biden knew full well what he was doing when he passed the Violence Against the Women's Act. It wasn't an accident that there was no benefits in it for men, only for women, and that a man can't suffer from domestic abuse. That was no accident. It was deliberate. And the division amongst the genders, the feminist movement, everything was brought to you deliberately. And the system's not broke. You're not going to correct it until you wake up and realize what's really going on. And as long as you want to believe there's a left and a right, to Democrats and Republicans, and that there's two sides and you can correct it this way or this way, you will never get nowhere. Never. You'll be fighting this 100 years from now and still won't have gotten it damn fucking nowhere. Nowhere. Okay? Until you understand what's really going on. It's sad because it's so in your face, but you so, I guess, refuse to look, don't you? But, the division amongst the genders was done deliberately. That's right, deliberately. To break up the family unit, to keep us divided. The old motto goes, keep them divided. United we stand as one. United we stand as one against your enemy. You win. The people at the top get their power from us, the people. And only us, the people, can take that power away from them. And we can only do that standing as one. But as long as we're all divided, we'll never be able to do that. Isn't that right? But anyhow, I guess there's not much more I can say to you other than the fact that I'm saddened because you're not waking up, because I guess you don't want to wake up, but the truth is the truth. Republican, Democrats, left and right are all one and the same. Wake up.